your book and your ideas with potty training and starting early, all the information you gave, it just like lined up with what I felt like as a parent, and it seemed very, very doable. I think a couple things that spoke to me like right at the beginning was managing my expectations. I think just knowing from the start that it's just going to be a while. So you can toss out those ideas of potty training your child in a weekend or potty training your child over a week or something like that. You just toss that idea out and then just know that it is going to take a while. So I think that really helped, just managing that expectation. And then also just that it's been successful. You've seen other kids do it. You've worked with other kids to create this process, and all the little details that are so specific for kids with Down syndrome. So Jude just turned 2. We started when he was about 19 months. So we started when he was 19 months, and I had read your book, and just to make sure I had like everything kind of fresh in my mind. And so we started off, I just took him to the bathroom after meals. So it was about 3 times a day that I would take him after meals. And I had to kind of play with the timing a little bit. How much can he eat? How much can he drink before I capture that window that he's gonna go potty? So the first few times we missed it, like he had already gone.
Sure.
And so, but we still I still sat him on the potty, and I can't remember the time frame that I got up to, but I did get up to quite a bit where it was like, I think maybe 10, like 15, maybe 20 minutes. I think we kind of got up to that time frame. And then found that within about, if he ate for about 20 minutes and he drank like a half a cup of liquid, whatever that is, he seemed to go potty. And so so now we shake like all done eating, and then we sign potty. Okay, time to go potty. And then I just pick him up. I take him to the potty. We take his pants off and his diaper off and sit him on the potty. And it took a little while at the beginning. He'd have to sit there for a little while, and so which was a good time to read books and sing songs and stuff. And then he would then he'd go potty. Anytime he sat on the potty and did not go, I just told him good job and praised him, good job. But I didn't give him high fives. He really loves high fives. Okay. And I held that back, like, good job sitting, you did such a good job. But no high fives. And then if he peed on the potty, then we gave high fives and we celebrated. And then I would pick him up, turn him, have him look at his pee, like, look, you did that, Jude, you went potty. So we've been at this for about 6 months, and I am shocked at how successful he's been at it. It's like, it's just part of the routine. We just go after every meal and before bedtime. So he goes at least 4 times a day. And nearly every time he goes pee in the potty. And sometimes he will initiate the clap when he pees.
Oh, that's awesome.
Instead of like me initiating the clap, like you peed. And then he's pooped in the potty a handful of times, and it's usually been after a meal. And then we celebrate that's like a big celebration, like when you poop in the potty. He's done really, really well at it, to the point now where we need to advance. And I probably needed to start this maybe a little bit sooner, but where we trial like 1 day a week where I'm taking off the diaper and putting on underwear. Yeah. And trying to be dry for like a period of time. Right. So
is his diaper usually dry in between times?
Sometimes it is.
Okay. And then are you pointing out that he's wet or dry when you take him in?
I have not.
That is a really big key part. So just make sure that before you do a little underwear trial, just point out when he's wet or dry, and when he's wet, just go, oh, you're wet.
Oh, okay.
But when he's dry, make a big deal out of it, give him high fives, because I think that piece of the process of really learning that being dry, not only getting your potties in the potty chair, but actually keeping your diaper dry for an extended amount of time is a really key concept for them to learn.
Yeah.
So start making sure that you point out when he's dry.
Okay,
and
okay.
This is the sign for dry.
Yeah. Oh, that's dry. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah. And then I've also thought about, and I also need to throw in an extra going to the bathroom, because you had talked about, try to go 5 to 10 minutes, before you anticipate they'll go to the bathroom. Because sometimes he's dry, but he's usually a little bit wet between breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
So if I can capture that one time he goes, but he will stay dry for at least like 1 to 2 hours after.
Oh, that's really good.
So
that's really good. That's
yeah.
really, because
and when he pees quite a bit. Like, I mean, I don't know how big his bladder is, but I'm like, that looks like a pretty big amount for a little 2-year-old bladder.
Good.
I mean, sometimes he pees a small amount, but usually he pees like a pretty good amount.
That's wonderful. And I think one of the key things, like you said, you started putting him on there right away when he was little, and he would go potty.
Yeah.
Well, when they're little, they don't have quite as much control, so they will go. And when you start potty training much later, they kind of clinch up and get a little nervous, and they sometimes have refusal behaviors.
Yeah, yeah,
and they won't go on a potty chair and they'll wait until you put the diaper on or the pull-up on and go after that. So that's one of those amazing things about when you start little, it just becomes part of their normal
habit.
Yeah, and they're not scared of the potty chair. They're not more comfortable by going in their diaper because they haven't really developed a preference yet, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Their body goes and they just go. So it's easier to find the right times, and you can get them to go potty on the potty chair sooner when you start young.
Yeah.
So it's just really amazing that you started when he was 19 months and now he's 2.
He's 2. He just turned 2. Yeah.
And you're already starting to kind of think about exploring underwear, which is amazing.
Yeah. And we, like, I bought a little travel potty. We've taken it with us. Like,
that's great.
And he does a great job. He like goes in the little travel potty too. Like,
that's awesome.
Because I don't ever want to go, like on a week trip or something and lose that habit,
Right.
Even if we're not going as frequent as we would at home, like we're still going at least a couple of times a day, and he goes.
Yeah, and I always tell families, it's okay I don't ever want anybody to stop.
Yeah.
And say, oh, we don't need to worry about that, unless it's something like a hospital visit or something like that.
Yeah.
But taking a step back, like you said, only going a few times a day or even once a day, is fine in this process. As long as you don't just stop it altogether. But you can take a step back, and then they usually don't have any problems getting back on track really quickly.
Yeah. And even so I work today, and my 10-year-old was in charge of watching, and my husband works remote at home. And he did the whole process. He fed him breakfast. He did all done. He signed him potty. We went over this last night. And then he picked him up and he took him potty. He said he peed after breakfast this morning. He didn't go after lunch. But I was like, that's great. Yeah. So even like his siblings can do it. They're on board with it. And Jude he's just so good. Like, he knows what to do. He knows what's expected of him, and he just does it. So
yeah, that's awesome. So I would guess that since you started when he was so young, and because he's doing so well, and you guys have really implemented it every day in his life instead of, just a few days a week or whatever, which is sometimes what some of our students are only able to go a few times a week when they're here at Little Leaf. Maybe parents haven't quite gone on board yet, or they just are super busy and can't do it at home. But when we have families who start as young as you have started, and then really get on board, usually our kiddos are potty trained by 2.5 or 3. Which crazy. Is amazing. And it sounds to me like Jude is really close to being online with that.
Yeah. Now, I haven't challenged situations where he's drinks a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But implementing that, pointing out when he's dry, you talked about, and trialing the underwear, but then also anticipating that time frame of okay, we've drank some liquid, so let's go sit on the potty.
Right. Yeah. Keeping a potty log can help with all that too. If you go back to keeping track of when he's going or when he's wet, and checking his diaper. And when you point out that he's dry, it doesn't only have to be when you are taking him to the bathroom, but you can check him 10 minutes after he just went, and that he's going to be dry, and give him high fives for being dry at that point in the day. So you can check any time during the day.
Yeah.
To reinforce that being dry is a good thing. That's
Yeah.
what we want.
So what's dry again?
Dry's like this.
Dry. Okay, and then what's wet?
Wet is this.
Wet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's good to know.
How fast does he usually, like how long does he usually need to set at this point?
10 minutes would be rare for him.
Okay.
Like he pees within 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's really got
Yeah.
that brain body connection. He's making it happen really quick. He
Yeah.
understands what he's on the potty for.
Yeah. Like it's pretty quick. Sometimes it'll be like, like, okay, Jude, I'm going to go throw away your diaper, or I'm going to go like throw away this napkin or something. And then I'll call a sibling in to come sit. And then like, as I'm going to throw it away, they'll be like, oh, he peed, Mom. Like,
Yeah, that's
so it's
awesome.
pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, and it will get quicker as he gets older too, but the fact that he's going potty that quickly at this young of age is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for him.
It's awesome.
It
It's
is.
like, it just makes me want to tell every parent, like, just do it. Like, just start when they're 18 months. Like, manage your expectations right off the bat. Start with the process of like figuring out kind of that time frame. It is more time consuming at the beginning when you're figuring out that time frame and they have to sit on the potty for a long time. But then like they really do get a hang of it, and like it's just part of the routine, and he's doing really well at it. And it's like, yeah, like the ideas that I had about having a child with Down syndrome and potty training like completely have changed and encouraged me. And anyways, it's been really cool to watch him.
Once you get it in your routine and you realize that not every potty has to be in the potty chair, and it's okay to have accidents, it's okay to continue to wear a diaper or a pull-up, and even toe working parents, even if you just take them one time in the morning.
Yeah.
Just one time in the morning, just to get that brain body connection and understand what they're doing. And then it when they're little, like Jude, because it also keeps them from becoming fearful or resistant to potty training later. I had one other mom, which I thought was kind of a neat point, because her son wasn't walking yet and she was surprised that we were going to start potty training. And I said, no, we start potty training all of our kids as soon as they come at 18 months or 2 or whatever it is, regardless of whether they walk or don't walk. And she goes, I think this is wonderful that we can focus on something that his body is doing and can do. That's really a positive way to look at it, that,
Yeah.
walking is so hard, but he can go potty on the potty chair.
With potty training, it's like, it's something that he could do and he could figure that out. And it wasn't like, there are steps, but it didn't seem so involved or like it would take so long. And
Jude is a really big success story, and so I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us. And I think that it's really good for people to realize how young our kids can be successful when they potty train when they're 18,
Yeah.
19 months.